Hey everyone, Gill Gross here, post-match, Daniil Medvedev versus Stefanos Tsitsipas, ATP Finals 2022, round robin, stage day 4. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. For a second straight time on hardcourt, Tsitsipas takes out Medvedev. It's a third set tiebreak that ultimately decides it, one that Tsitsipas won 7 points to 1. We've had a couple of third set tiebreaks already in this ATP Finals. We've only had 2 matches that haven't featured tiebreaks. That's how server-friendly these conditions are. We'll get to more of that momentarily. Implications for the semifinals. Daniil Medvedev now eliminated. He cannot advance to the elimination stage. Tsitsipas will take on Rublev for a spot in the semis 2 days from now. As I mentioned, it's now 2 in a row for Tsitsipas after beating Medvedev in Cincinnati. I was so interested to see what was going to continue from that match in Cincinnati, what was not going to continue, and what were the implications of that going to be. This is what I mean. That match in Cincinnati, Tsitsipas played the best tactical match against Daniil Medvedev I have ever seen. Never has he been so willing to serve and volley. When he wasn't serve and volleying, he was hitting his first ball as an approach shot. When he happened to get into a baseline rally, he was mixing in slice on his backhand, and he was drop shotting with frequency far beyond what we're used to seeing. All of these things were ways that Tsitsipas could avoid getting into that neutral ground stroke exchange with Medvedev that Daniil tends to win. Medvedev, on return especially, wants to neutralize that initial offense to try to get into that exchange. And Tsitsipas, by just coming forward, whether it be behind his serve or behind his first ball, just takes that option away for Daniil and just eliminates his opportunity to play defense from deep in the court. So, I thought Tsitsipas unlocked something in Cincinnati, but I looked at that match and I thought, well, does that really, how much can I take from that? Because Daniil Medvedev served awfully in that match. Terrible serving by his standards. So I was so curious to see. I knew next time they play, Medvedev is going to serve better. There's no way his serve is going to be that ineffective next time they play. But I also knew Tsitsipas was probably going to be able to execute those same tactics because he has the skills to do it. It's not just that he had a good idea. It's that he is a good enough volleyer. His transition game is strong enough that he can actually execute that. And, by the way, his backhand slice and backhand drop shot, this wasn't always the case, but is now good enough to actually use effectively. Whereas in the past, he could use it, and it was usually a disaster. That's not true anymore. So what was going to give here? What was going to happen? The answer was both. Medvedev served better. Tsitsipas executed those same exact tactics and did so brilliantly. So what did we get? We got a bunch of service holds. Just a reminder that coverage of the ATP Finals is brought to you by BetUS. For this year's year-end championships, play with America's favorite sportsbook and get $125 extra on your first deposit using the link in the description, the promo code Gill Gross at BetUS. Nobody was going to break serve. Medvedev's serve was overpowering against Tsitsipas's return for the most part. And Tsitsipas's net rushing tactics were overpowering against Medvedev's return strategy, which just won't budge. He can't make that adjustment. And Medvedev's returning was very ineffective against the serve and volley. So what happened? Bunch of holds. Bunch of holds. In the first set, second game of the match, Medvedev's forehand absolutely kills him. He makes 3-4 errors on his forehand. 4. He made 4 because the game went to deuce. It was just, didn't have it. It was the second game of the match. He was trying to initiate with it, and it killed him. That was the break of serve, and that was the first set. In the second set, there were no breaks of serve. Tsitsipas had a couple of match points in a very lengthy, high-quality, thrilling second set tiebreak. And at 9-all, Medvedev had one of the match point saves of the year with the baseline overhead of the year. It was absolutely incredible. Not 9-all, I misspoke. The score was 9-10. Absolutely incredible. Tsitsipas's defense was crazy good. A beautiful defensive lob. Medvedev hit a sick overhead, 116 miles per hour from the baseline. A clean winner to save that match point. Incredible stuff. And by the way, the last break of serve I was telling you about in the first set, it was a baseline overhead that Medvedev missed to give the breakaway. So that tie break continued. At 11-all, they played at this marathon rally. It was long, but it wasn't crazy long. I don't have the exact number of shots, but I think it was around 20. I think it was less than 30. And Tsitsipas had a bailout of all bailouts. It was the definition of a shot tolerance malfunction or a shot tolerance victory by Medvedev. You have to credit both sides. You know, Daniil's shot tolerance, it's unbelievable. It's remarkable. And it's better than almost everybody's. But this was Tsitsipas was very, very guilty on this forehand drop shot of bailing out of this rally. The drop shot wasn't there. It was an incredibly low percentage attempt. And at the end of the day, and I'm usually not this harsh about a single point, but it decided the second set with these razor-thin margins. So I have to be harsh about this 1 point. Stefanos, with the match on the line there, has to be better than that. I understand that point in and point out, Medvedev is able to do that. And that can be very, very grating, tiresome. It can wear you down. It happens to the best of them. But at 11-all there, I expect a little bit more willingness to suffer. And I don't expect a bailout of a rally until you maybe get to 35 shots or something. Then, you know, maybe the legs are completely gone and you can do something like that. I thought that was a disappointing 11-all point by Tsitsipas. And then Medvedev at 12-11, first set point where he actually had it on his own serve, and he finished it off with a nice drop volley followed by an overhead. We went to the third set, and mind you, Tsitsipas was yet to be broken at this point. At 3-all, he had that first lapse of focus. I thought the energy was pretty low in the match at this point. It was kind of boring. And this was not a boring match. This was a good match. I loved this match. But this part of the match in particular, just it was a lull. You know, very just serve dominant, not a lot of things that would get your attention. And I just think Tsitsipas maybe fell asleep a little bit in this 3-all game because he stopped doing what was working. He was not serve and volleying. He wasn't coming to net. He serve and volleyed once in this game, and it was off of a second serve. That's not what he was doing all match. That's not going to work. The serve and volley was working off of the first serve. It's not going to work off of the second serve. Medvedev is going to hit strong passing shot returns. This was the only time that I can remember that Tsitsipas comes in behind a second serve, and he doesn't behind the first serve. So it was a very just head-scratchy game, not sure what he was doing, and I'll leave it at that. So Medvedev breaks at 3-all, and he serves for the match at 5-4. He double faults it. Look, this was a nervous game. Let me just say it right off the bat before I describe it. The nerves seem to take over Daniil Medvedev. Bad double fault at 15-love. Tries to build with an offensive forehand at 15-all. Hits it long. Tsitsipas makes an amazing return at 15-30, and Stefanos, it was a first serve return. Stefanos deserves all the credit for this 15-30 point. And then at 15-40, first ball, forehand, unforced error, mishit it. Wasn't too difficult a ball, one that you'd expect Medvedev to make. So forehand kind of went off again, but he just seemed pretty overcome with nerves, Medvedev. We go to a tie break. Tsitsipas, on his first two service points at love all, and then when he got his serve back, hit 2 unreturned serves. Medvedev didn't get 3 points. Instead, he tried to build offense with his backhand, missed a backhand down the line, missed a backhand drop shot. So twice he was kind of trying to swing first, trying to create, and he fell down 3-love in this tiebreak. Tsitsipas, service winner. Now it's 4-love. Tsitsipas, serve plus swing volley, backhand volley winner. Now it's 5-love. It's over. It's over. So it happened very quickly. Medvedev, 2 backhand unforced errors. Surprising, weird, shocking. Now let's make sense of all of this. First of all, and I still think this is the biggest thing, there's no answer. Medvedev has no answer for Stefanos' serve and volley. And the early approach shots and backhand drop shots were effective yet again. Stefanos Tsitsipas, 36 for 45 net approaches. And this is key. I want to emphasize this. That doesn't count all of the returns that Medvedev missed because of the pressure that Tsitsipas applies by coming in behind his serve. I had a conversation with someone who handles stats for ATP Media, and he told me that that does not count as a net approach, but they're going to look at that and potentially change it. In my opinion, that should be a net 0.1. If I'm serve and volleying and you miss the return, I think I should get credit for a net 0.1 because me coming in forced you to hit a more difficult return and you're going to draw misses. And I thought that was very much the case. So it says, the stats say 36 for 45 on net approaches for Tsitsipas. That's already significant. I mean, Stefanos won half of his points in the first set at net. And let's see, for the match, you're looking at total points won. You're looking at 106. So 36 out of 106. It fell off that pace. It wasn't quite half. But you're looking at a significant number there. And I think the stat actually undersells how significant it is. On the Medvedev side, yes, he recovered his serve. 85% first serve points won. 55% first serves unreturned. As long as you're making first serves, if you're Daniil Medvedev, you're pretty comfortable. You're going to be in good shape. I mean, on second serve, he won 47%. Meh, it's decent. Doesn't matter. He's still holding comfortably off of the back of that first serve effectiveness that was overwhelming. But ultimately, what decided the match, besides those things, when push came to shove, what's my interpretation? What happened here with Medvedev serving for the match and making errors off the ground, trying to initiate offense? And then 2 out of the first 3 points in the tiebreak, making errors, trying to initiate offense off the ground. This is what I said coming in. The confidence just isn't there right now for Daniil Medvedev. And I know it's not his strength. Offensive ground strokes, it's not his strength. There's not that much firepower there. But Medvedev at his best is still able to at least apply pressure without missing off the ground. He's able to, look, sometimes the finishing is shaky. Sometimes he needs to play a bunch of extra balls, but usually he's still able to sustain some level of aggression with his ground strokes without missing. And look, maybe he was doing that at certain points in this match, but as soon as things got caught tight, that's where you saw where Medvedev's confidence is at. He's serving well. He's still running well, covering the court well. The defense is still good. But lately, Medvedev has not been able to be effective looking to do damage with his ground strokes. It's just not there. And that's ultimately what decided the match. Because when the nerves kicked in, we saw what happened with Medvedev. I don't know why he wasn't just, more passive and just kind of hunkered down, went into never miss mode. I think that could have been effective. But for some reason in those pressure moments, he was trying to create and errors. So despite Tsitsipas having an awesome strategy, he still almost lost the match in these server-friendly conditions with Medvedev serving well. This has become a fascinating head-to-head, a fascinating rivalry, and I've been critical of this rivalry. I think a lot of their matches in the past have stunk. They've been very predictable, surface-dependent, not very good. That is completely flipped in the last 2 matches, and I'm looking forward to seeing this as it continues to develop. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.